So today we're going to be doing 412 writing equivalent expressions. So we're going to be looking at patterns and coming up with strategies to figure out how many tiles are in a figure and then being able to use those strategies of different figures of different sizes. So it says look at the frame built with tiles at right, then use a diagram to complete parts A through D. So without counting every single tile, find the number of tiles in the frame mentally. So go ahead and take a minute and look at this diagram right here and see if you could mentally, without counting, figure out how many tiles are there. Go ahead and write your answer for A. Skip B because you guys are taking these notes through a video. So C says, Pam told her team that when she first looked at the figure, she thought that there were 40 tiles in the frame. Explain how Pam might have been looking at the drawing to see the answer and what she might have overlooked. So if we go back up to here, and I am looking at our diagram of our frame, okay, she said that there are 40 tiles, and we want to know, is she correct? So if we counted just one side, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry there, my pen stopped working. So there are 10 on each side. So what do you think she could have done? Where does the 40 come from, you think? And when I think about it, I think, okay, there's 10 on each side and there's 4 sides. So she probably counted one side and then just multiplied it by 4. But there's a problem with that because she would have had to say, okay, this plus, get a different color, plus this, plus this, plus this to get that. Okay, because that would be adding 10 4 times. Here's the other set of 10, here's the other set of 10, and here's the other set of 10. What do you notice about the way she solved that? Is there anything that stands out to you? Hopefully you see that these guys have an overlap. So her strategy didn't work because when she counted, she was technically counting those corner pieces twice. And in a frame, they're not there twice. So for C, okay, Pam, it's probably actually easier if I just type this out. So let's do that. So Pam thought each side is 10 tiles long, but she overlooked that the corner tiles are, we'll call them overlaps of the sides. So she counted the corners twice. That is the mistake that she made with that logic that she had. She can still do that, okay? She could still say, okay, 10 times 4, but she would have to go back and subtract the ones that got counted twice. So she could say, okay, 10 times 4 gives me 40, but I need to get rid of the corners that were overlapped. So that would be 36. Okay, so for this next part, we're actually going to need to use some colors. So I need you to get out at least 3 different colors. These can be colored pencils, markers, highlighters, crayons, just, pens, just 3 different colors. So go ahead and pause if you need to go get those and come back when you're ready. All right, so I am going to tell you how to color code this. And where I'm getting these numbers is if you actually look on the next page after this, on 4-13, you see Jonas's method, Curran's method, Tina's, Raymond's, Alyssa's, and TJ's method. That's what I'm using to color code these boxes. Okay, so I'm not coming up with these randomly. I am using their expressions to figure out, and we're doing the same problem. How many tiles are in the frame? Okay, they just made a whole grid to make it easier because there's a lot of different ways you could go about this. So the first one we're going to start off with is Jonah. Or I guess Jonas. His expression was 4 times 10 minus 4. And I do want you to write that by each person's name so you can actually see quickly what is this picture showing. So you could see when Jonas figured out how many tiles in the frame, he did 4 times 10 minus 4. So what he did, and I'm going to get a highlighter here, he multiplied each side. So he said, okay, there's 10 in one side, and there's 4 sides, so 10 times 4, but he remembered these corners overlap. So I need to get rid of these corners in my total for how many tiles are in my frame. And then Curran's, okay, they did, if you look at their expression on the next page, 10 plus 9 plus 9 plus 8. So let's see what they did. So they did a full side, so there's 10, plus 9, so I gotta think, where did that 9 come from? Oh, that was the leftover on this side and the leftover on this side, top and bottom. And then this 8 came from what was left over here. So this one is a lot easier when you draw it out because it's a lot easier when you see it. So he did one full side, what was left of the sides touching that one, and then what was left of that remaining side. So here's where the 10, the 9, the 9, and the 8 came from. That's how he figured out how many tiles there were. Okay? Next, we're going to do Tina. And she did 10 plus 10 plus 8 plus 8. So if I was to draw hers out, she did one full side length plus another full side length, and I have to skip to the one across from it because it's the only other full one. And then she just added this remaining inside piece, which turned out to be 8. Okay, so she added up all the sides, but she didn't have to worry about any overlapping. Raymond, where is it? Yeah. I don't know if it's Raymond or Ramond. We're going to call him Raymond. He did 10 times 10 minus 8 times 8. So what he did was he took the area of the outside, so the area of all this, which is a 10 by 10, and then took the area of the inside and subtracted them. So he took the area of the outside of the bigger square and subtracted the area of the smaller square on the inside. Alyssa she did 9 times 4. Ooh, great. So she did, okay, here's 9. Here's 9. Oh, I went 1 too far. Here's 9. And here's 9. So she noticed there were 4 sets of 9. Again, don't have to worry about that overlapping. And then lastly, we have TJ. And he did 4 times 8 plus 4. So what TJ did was he ignored the overlapping corners at first. And he just said, okay, I'll just do the little insides, which gives me 8 pieces. Then lastly, I'll add in the 4 separately so I don't have to worry about any overlapping. So if you turn the page, so we're going to look at the methods, okay? And we're actually going to describe how the student might have been seeing the picture frame to come up with the method, okay? So now we're going to put it into words. And again, I'm going to type so that it's clear because writing on top of a screen can be hard. So Jonas's method, what he did was each side has 10 tiles, but then subtracted the extra corners. So we're going to add right here. Each side has 10 tiles, and there are 4 sides. So that's where our 40 comes from, or 4 times 10. And then he subtracted the extra corner. So that's how I would put his into words. So go ahead and pause this and put Curran's, Tina's, Raymond's, Alyssa, and TJ's methods into words. So for Curran's, I put, he added each side as you went around the square, because you started with 10 and then the next, if I kept going, there was only 9 left, and then 9 left, and then there would be that 8. Tina's method, we added 2 full sides and then added the other 2 without overlapping, something like that. Or you could say I added the lengths and the widths. Yours can be a little bit different than mine. Raymond's, I put the whole area minus the area inside the frame. Alyssa's, I put each side has 9 tiles and there are 4 sides. TJ's method, each side has 8 tiles, then added the 4 corners. So don't worry about the challenge. If you want to try them, go ahead. If not, go ahead and open up your homework booklets to 412 and start working on that. We will grade that homework tomorrow.